Okay, very dear friends, I just want to tell you that I am in my Addon right now because I felt that I had to do this video in order to tell you a little more thing about Muslims. Okay, myself, I don't consider myself as being friend of all the Muslims because of myself I hate Muslims. You know why I hate Muslims? It's simple as because they're always praying on the fucking carpet on the ground, and they are reading their fucking Quran, which is pure crap, which is pure shit right now, because I've read a few articles in the fucking Quran, and the only thing they were talking about was they agreed with pedophilia and murder of women, not murder woman, but rape of women, and it took everything that is illegal here in Canada is legal in the Quran for Muslims. Well, it doesn't take too much to realize bad things about all of it. Myself, I am not crazy. I'm a good person. I like the good person myself. If you're a good person, you can be sure that I will be with you all the time. But if you're a bad person, you can be sure that I will be a bad person with you all the time as well, okay? Being a bad person is not that bad. Being a good person is not that bad either. But the thing is, you have to live your life the way it is today, because our life is not simple as it was before, because today we have too many fucking shit to look after, and the governments are doing their best to make us realize that our life is not worth it. The reason why is very simple, because if you die, well, government will not have to pay for you anymore. They won't have to pay for medication. They won't have to pay for health. They won't have to pay for hospital, and they won't have to pay for fuck all about you. You're dead. Simple as that. You'll be either burned or either in the ground, 6 feet on the ground. But I will not be 6 feet on the ground, because I don't like to be buried alive in my coffin, because that's a bad dream or nightmare that I already had. Myself, I'm having a lot of nightmare right now because of what D&D did to me a while back. I am still having bad dream or nightmare about that, and it's very bad to me when I wake up in the morning and I have that kind of nightmare. You see, I'm all red all the way in my face right now. It's because the federal don't look like if they're gonna take their own responsibility in my case, and they will never be able to do such thing, because they will think that they are guilty of what they have done to me. So in other words, they will be scared that I take them to court. Well, I'm not willing to take them to court, because I have already contacted a cabinet, a lawyer cabinet, and I found out that they were really too expensive. So I'm not going to court, except that if the federal government bring me to court, they will have to pay my lawyer. I won't have, because I'm not the one who's taking them to court. They're the one who's taking me to court. So they will have to pay my lawyer fees. Well, it's very easy to think, because everything is written at Ottawa. Everything is there. They will have to read or reread it. But the thing is, I am damn serious, because I've seen it. I've seen it in the past, and I don't think things have been changed so far. Everything is great. Everything will remain the same fucking crap. D&D. I'm always against D&D for what they have done to me a while back again, because you, D&D, you always had a bad minister to look after you, okay? I remember there were all kind of old ministers in the Liberal Party in the past. When it was Mr. Pierre Trudeau, there was an old minister for D&D. When it was Mr. Chrétien, there was no minister for D&D. When it was Mr. Paul Martin, there was all minister for D&D, and go on and go on and go on. Mr. Harper had the same fucking crap, you know. He had the young minister for D&D, but he was not a good one. Mr. Mackey has never been a good minister, never been. Mr. Blaney has never been a good minister for veteran as well, because Mr. Blaney came after Mr. Fantino, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Fantino was a real jerk because he was possibly the chief of police in Toronto, but the thing is, he came to Minister of Veterans Affairs of Canada, which was not good because, you know, he didn't go to war, even though he had bullet along his head all the time because he was a police. Well, police, that's what they deserve, okay? They studied for it, they were paid for it, and that's all. That's what they deserve. I'm very sorry about that, but this is the way it is. Mr. Blaney, okay, yourself, you were a strictly civilian. I don't think you have made military service. I don't recall it at all. Anyways, you were not good. Good Minister for Veterans Affairs of Canada. We did write a lot of letters to the Premier to replace you, which he did. But it took a long time, but he did, okay? So, but we had a very bad minister at the Veterans Affairs of Canada, and right now we're having Mrs. Wilson-Rayholt, who was the Minister of Justice in the past, but now she's the Minister of Veterans Affairs of Canada, which I don't think that she's a good minister because she knows nothing about the military, I guess, and she knows nothing about veterans, so she's not going to be good. If Conservative take over, we're possibly going to get a bad minister as well because, you know, he's going to have the same fucking minister than there was under Mr. Harper. You have no choice because they're all there. They're all the same fucking MP. But we're probably still going to have the same fucking ministers. That's what I'm saying. They have the experience, but they're bad experiences. Okay? We don't like those people. We don't like those people at all. Mr. Gérard Deltel, I don't like you personally. Mr. Anyway, the one in Montarville there, I can't recall his name because it's been a while since I didn't talk to him, but he's not a good man, okay? He's not a good man at all. That man should not be re-elected because he does not deserve it. Especially the one who directs his cabinet there, the man, I can't recall his name either, but that man should not be there. I'm only hoping he's going to lose his job and he's going to be on the market like any other people. I don't recall any good things coming from the Conservative in the past. There was nothing good. Mr. Harper did not respect his promise when he did the election. Mr. Trudeau didn't respect his promise when he did the election. And I'm assuming that Conservative will do the same thing. But the thing is, the Conservative, when they do their electoral platform, they will not promise anything for the veterans. It's going to be simple as that. It's going to be very easy for them to try to negotiate with veterans because, you know, Conservative has never been a good negotiator because, you know, they don't have the man to negotiate first of all, okay? Even though they're having like Muslim in their political party, well, those men, they have been bought by the Conservatives, same thing as the veteran in the Liberal. They have been bought by Mr. Trudeau, like Mr. Sajjan. He's a little kid of Mr. Justin Trudeau, and Mr. Sajjan is not acting properly. He likes to go elsewhere, out of Canada. He likes to do it because he likes to be taken in pictures and in the paper, in the newspaper or at the TV. He likes it. But the thing is, he's not a man to be at the TV or in the newspaper because he does not deserve it at all. Mr. Sajjan, with your turban, you know, you're neglecting Canada right now, and that's what you've always been doing while you were serving in the army. Thank you very much.